Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome to back to my channel, and it's so lovely to be back in my craft room. You won't have realised, but I haven't actually been in here for over a week now. Luckily I had filmed ahead, so there's been no break in transmission, but I have had a week of no crafting, so I'll explain what I've been up to in a moment, but I thought I'd just get started. Oh, excuse me. I'd just get started at first, working on Rachel's latest challenge. It's week number 22, and it's stamped fabric nature tags is what she's called them. And I watched her video and I thought they looked so beautiful when she'd finished. I really had to have a go, especially as I didn't do last week's challenge. It wasn't just wasn't possible for me to do it last week, so I thought I really would like to do this week's, and I really liked what she did, so I thought I'd better get started on it. And I have just prepared a couple of pages that I've stuck together from the book I've been starting to use as my glue book. I haven't used much of it yet, so that these weren't actually glue pages because I hadn't even got around to using them yet. But I like the quality of the paper. It's a nice thick paper, and I've just stuck two together in the same way that she did. They're slightly smaller papers than the ones she was using, but I still think it'll make nice little tags, so I thought I'd give it a go. So, having said that, I think I better get the timer started. And there we go, 45 minutes on the clock. And I'll get started by doing the backing the papers first. So the first one I'm going to use, it's one of these, it's one of the collage papers I did. I did the same thing as she did some neutral collaging and then scanned them, and then they're useful to use, and they're quite a nice quick start for doing something like this. So I'm just going to glue it onto the back of this paper. And I'm using this to cover my mat, this non-stick craft mat, because I thought it was because the pages are the same size as my glue book, because my glue book is the same, and I just thought it would be easier to do it on here, and it will wipe clean, nice and easily. And I didn't want to get more glue on my mat, my green mat. It's already a bit gluey, and I have managed to clean it. Whoops. It just slips about a bit, but I just thought I'd just do it on here, and then I can just wipe it clean afterwards, make life a little bit easier. So the past week has been, well, firstly the middle of last week was a bit of a write-off for me. I had a couple of really bad days, couldn't do anything, couldn't craft, couldn't do much else. The arm was really painful. Not just the shoulder, the elbow was really just flared up, and when the elbow hurts, everything else hurts around it, so it affected my shoulder and everything. So yeah, that was a bit of a write-off in the middle of last week, but luckily that eased up by the end of the week, because on Friday we went away for the weekend for a 3-day weekend break, so that was really lovely. We'd been looking forward to it for so long. I was a bit worried that my arm would spoil things, but it luckily it didn't. And yes, we went off to stay on the Norfolk coast. No, I haven't got my card. Oops. We were there to visit our friends, the ones that we've known them for 30 odd years, and this was also the friend that I made the sewing journal for. So, and we hadn't seen them for quite a long while. Obviously we talk all the time on the phone, but I hadn't seen them for ages. So it was a trip that we'd been looking forward to for so long, and it was really lovely. Normally when we go, because I usually try and go there a couple of times a year, and usually stay with them. But we had booked into the hotel previously anyway, and we'd had to delay it. We meant to go in November, and we had to put it back because of COVID. So because they've just moved, so they weren't really in a position to have us stay, which was fine. And I think it made it, in some ways it felt better, a bit easier, because it meant we didn't feel we were imposing on them so much, but we're still able to see a lot of them. But then, you know, we could give them their own space as well, so it worked really well. So yeah, it was a really lovely weekend. Right, this one I'm going to use some other papers and do a bit of collage, I think, on this one. So I've got some papers that I've just printed off just for doing kind of neutral backing, because these are not necessarily meant to be for doing for the backing papers, but they are quite neutral, so I thought they would be quite nice to use. So I'm just going to just tear a few pieces off and just make a bit of a collage on the back here. I'm not aiming to make as many as Rachel, obviously, because that just would be silly. I will try and prepare 6 and see how far I go. If I finish 6, it will be a miracle. But I'm thinking I might get 4 done. But yeah, you've got to just aim high and see what happens. Right. It's a bit wobbly. Just flip it down a bit. Okay, let's get another piece. Yes, the way we arranged it, because it was a special 3-day break. Oh, this has got a bit stuck to it. It included evening meal, which was very nice. And what we decided to do, so we could have an evening meal the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday night. So what we were able to do is swap the Friday night, so not have the meal on the Friday night, and then have 4 meals on the Saturday night, so we could invite our friends to join us on a Saturday night, and then they cooked for us on the Friday, so that worked really well. So we ate with them Friday and Saturday, and they came and joined us at the hotel on the Saturday night, which was really lovely. And it was a 3-course meal, all included in the offer that we, the special deal that we had. But it wasn't just a 3-course meal, which I don't think I'd even realised. We got canapes when we were with our drinks, which were delicious, really little bite-sized pieces of yumminess. And then when we first sat down, you'd get a pre-starter, which is again really, really yummy. They just arrive at the table. You don't order it or anything. It's just part of the meal, having a pre-starter, which was absolutely delicious. Just a little something just to start the meal, but it was really nice. And then there was the 3 courses, and yes, it was absolutely lovely. It was a bit special, because we hadn't been anywhere for a long time, so it was nice to have a little bit of a treat. I think these have got bits stuck on the back of them as well, and I've used bits of them before. I think I'll have to get my ruler and tear that piece off. It's going to be a bit too thick otherwise. And the hotel apparently had some sort of connection with Agatha Christie in the past. I think she'd stayed there. Agatha Christie, the crime writer, murder writer, and so there were pictures of her around the place. And so the decor was very much in 30s style, but not over the top 30s. They'd done it in quite a nice, quite classy, fairly understated 30s style, which was rather nice. So you didn't feel like they were ramming it down your throat too much, but it was there. It was quite nicely done. And it's quite a small town, so it's to have such a smart hotel there was a bit unusual. And we haven't got anything like that round this way where we live. Couldn't imagine trying to take somebody to a place like that round here. It's the pub or the pub. So yeah, it was a real treat. Right, last little piece across the bottom. Oops. And very luckily, the weather was absolutely glorious. It wasn't hot, but it was sunny the whole weekend. It was just wonderful. We've had so much miserable weather over the last couple of months. A cold, dry April, and then a cold, wet May. So we were all desperate for a bit of sunshine, which was... And so it was lovely. Lovely to see the sunshine. And now it's June. It's warm as well as being sunny, which is wonderful. Been long awaited. I wonder if, you know, the fact that it had been so wet and so cold for so long was why I've been having some problems with my shoulder and with my elbow over the last couple of weeks. With any luck, a bit of warmth will be just what I need. I'll be able to keep going in the craft room for a bit more than I have been. It's just a good thing I had already filmed this week's videos. I'll probably, obviously apart from this one, because I wouldn't have been able to do it after Tuesday. Tuesday was the last time I made a video, and that one's going to come out tomorrow, Thursday. Right, here we go. Right, so these have now been backed. So the next job is to cover them in fabric. So I've got some fabric here. I've got an old hanky, which is quite see-through, which I think I'll use probably on this one because it's a blank back and it's so see-through. But this one is a little bit thicker, but it's still quite thin. It's I think it's an old tablecloth or table runner or something like that. And I've used quite a lot of it for I think I used this for backing on the wedding journals or adding the lace to. So, oh no, we don't put that on next. We cut them into our tag shapes next, don't we? Yes. Get it in the right order. So that's what I'm going to do next. Right, now this is about 7 3/4, so I think I can make them 2.5 inches wide, roughly. Maybe just slightly more than that, 2.5, just a little bit over maybe. So they won't all be exactly the same size, but won't be too bad. 2.5 and a bit. That one, and this one the same. 2.5-ish. They're more or less the same, so they're quite a nice little size. And then we cover them with the fabric. So I'll make sure I do the... Actually, there aren't many with writing on. These are pages from quite early in the book, so there's not a lot of writing on them. This one's got a bit of writing on it, so I'll use this. And I'm just going to use my glue stick, I think, to stick them on, because I'm going to do as Rachel... Oh no, that's the new one. I don't want to use that one yet. I've also ran them in the same way that Rachel did afterwards, off camera. I think this glue will be sufficient to hold it in place until then. Oop. Okay. let's get my little card and smooth it out as I go, I think, so it doesn't dry with lumps and bumps. Okay, there's one. Any more with writing on? That's got a bit of writing on it, so I'll use that one. So nice to finally have a bit of sunshine and feel a bit of warmth in my bones. Seems to have been a long time coming this year. I think especially after last year, because we had most beautiful May last year, and April as well. They were both really, really sunny and warm. And all we kept saying was, it's not like last year. So much nicer last year. But then last year, at this time of year, we were in full lockdown. So, you know, at least we can get out and about a bit more this year. So I think we needed it last year. Needed it to get through the first shock of being in lockdown, I think. So we paid for it this year, it feels like almost. Okay, another one. Wipe off that glue. Try and wipe as I go. Might be able to get 4 out of this piece, I think. Okay, one more out of this, and then I'll do a couple out of the hanky. I think this material is almost certainly some vintage tablecloth, but I can't remember where the hanky came from. I have a feeling it was one of my old hankies. So if it was from when I was a child, which is quite possible, or when I was younger, it would be vintage. That's quite a long while ago now. But I think it's got a piece cut out of it, so I think that's the. They had a little embroidered rose in the corner. I believe that might be the one I cut out and put on the front of my wedding journal. So it's nice to use up the rest of it. Alright, that one can go on there. So, just get this piece and stick those two on here. Whether I'll get them all actually decorated and finished up, who knows. I'll just keep plodding on and we'll see how we get on. This is getting very squashy and yucky. I'm going to use an old, I think it's where it's coming to the end, and it's just got a lot of, I don't know, the glue just gets a bit smushy, whatever you call it. Yeah, I think I'm on the last knock-ins now. And it's just gets a bit warm, I think, and it's a bit yucky. Which way shall I do it? I'll do it that way. Slight decorative edge along there. Let's just wipe this. No, I'll get the wet one, that'll be better. Get rid of all these lumps of glue. And I think this one's had it, so I'm going to start the new one. Oops. Come on. And one more. And then we'll start the fun part. Okay. A big lump of glue there. Ugh. Okay, let's just, I'll put that, no, on the wrong side. I'll put that here. Nope, that way around, you silly woman. The card. Okay, that's on, I think. Right, now I need to cut them apart. So I'll bring these ones back in. I'll just try and cut them all more or less in one go. Probably need to trim them up a little bit more, but at least this way it'll be easier to deal with. Right, okay. No, that way. Just trim them all a little bit more. When Rachel did hers, she had one of her fabrics had a nice decorative edge, which obviously I haven't got on this one. So that was rather nice, but I think the basic idea was more, that was more by luck than plan, I think. So the idea is to have the fabric covering the tag. Decorative edge is just an added extra, which was lucky for her to have that on hers. Try not to cut the tag itself. And that last bit. So I hope you've all had a lovely weekend too, wherever you are. It happened to be over here, it was a bank holiday weekend, so that, and it was the start of the school holidays as well, so the traffic was pretty rubbish, but we managed to avoid most of it. Yeah, for us the last Monday in May is always a bank holiday. Not that it makes any difference to us really, because Richard doesn't work on a Monday anyway, so it didn't make any difference to us really, and it just happened to be the weekend. We didn't book it this weekend because it was the bank holiday. We booked it because it was the first weekend that we could book it, because it's only recent that we've been allowed to. The hotels have been allowed to reopen, and we had thought about going last weekend. The weekend previous to that. That would have been the first weekend we could, but that weekend we wanted to see our girls, have them over, which we did so we could cook our Christmas turkey, the one that had been sitting in our freezer since Christmas, because we were all supposed to be together and then we weren't allowed. So we had a very large turkey sitting in our freezer up until the weekend before last. And so we were determined that when we were allowed, we would all have a nice, not really a Christmas meal together. I mean, there were some Christmas elements to it, like the turkey and some roast veggies, roast potatoes and things. But then we had a few more seasonal vegetables, because a lot of things that we would normally eat at Christmas aren't really available now. They're out of season. So I think I'm just going to, I'll cut these up as well, but I don't think I'll decorate all of them all the way through. Yeah, so that was absolutely lovely that we were able to have the family over. And my friend who we went to visit, her daughters actually live near us, because this is she moved out to Norfolk. She and her husband moved out to Norfolk, but her girls did not. So they do like to come back anyway. So that weekend, the same week, that first weekend we were allowed to, they wanted to see their girls as well. So they came up and spent some time with their girls, and we were able to spend some time with ours. So then the next weekend that was possible was the weekend we've just had, the bank holiday weekend, and that's why we went then. And of course we were also able to spend some really lovely quality time with our little pickle, our little Lissy, who was in very good form. She really enjoyed coming over and visiting her room that we decorated for her. She loves her room. She and I spent a fair bit of time in there, just playing with her toys, and she pretended to go to bed so I could read her a story, and it was lovely. And then she goes out in the garden with Grandad. That seems to be our place. My place is to play with her in her room, and Grandad plays with her in the garden. And she got in a lovely mess, covered in mud, so they had to give her a bath before they could take her home. She was so pleased with herself. She'd been helping Grandad planting, and I think she had as much mud on her as she did on the ground, although she did have a big pile of mud in front of her. And came with a big grin on her face and black hands, mud on her head. But she'd had a lovely time, so nobody was cross or anything. Just thought, well, better get her in the bath. So yeah, it was a lovely, lovely weekend. So we had two lovely weekends in a row. So I think the next one will be a bit quieter. That'll be quite nice. Hopefully I'll just be getting back in my craft room and get some things done. I really need to get that wedding journal done, because the wedding is very, very soon. And I've still got a lot to do. So there will probably be more wedding videos coming up before I get back into doing that ring-bound travel journal. Just because I need to get the wedding journal finished. Okay, now they're covered. And I've jabbered on enough. Now I need to do the stamping. I'm going to right, there's a bit there. Oh well, it'll be fine, because it's going to be sewn anyway. Right, so the stamps I've got a couple that I can use. I've got this one called Old Letter, which would be quite good because it'll probably just be able to do it all in one go, I think. It's a stamped by Woodware, a company, well, I think it's a British company. And I think I don't even need a block. I think I use StazOn because that's what Rachel recommended, but I've only got black. It's the only colour I have in StazOn, so I'm going to use that. It's got a really funny smell, this stuff. It's kind of almondy. Have to be a bit careful, it's a bit potent. Okay, let's try, see how this comes out. So I don't want it to be too dark. I can just do the whole tag in one go. Let's see how it comes out on the fabric. I've not done this before. Well, I have done some stamping on fabric, but not on a... It hasn't come out hardly at all, so I clearly need to put more... Either there's not enough ink on the stamp, or I need to press it a bit harder. If it doesn't come out, I'll use one of the other ink, one of the other inks, because I haven't used this for quite a while. Let's try that. If that doesn't work, I'll get another one out. Is it going to come out? Oh, that's better. Yeah, obviously I haven't inked it up enough. It doesn't need to be really dark. I don't want it to be dark. Don't even know if I've got it the right way up. Well, I think I have. Not that you can tell very much, but... Okay. Yeah, that's come out all right. Do one more with that one. What should I do there? I'm just going to lay down my fabric in case I need it. Give it a chance to sort of make it ready to use. Right. Okay, that's that one. And then I've got these two Kaisercraft stamps. One is a script and one is music. So I thought I'd make like a music couple with music on. I'll get them both out. Try this one first. The trouble is, because it's that much smaller, I'll probably have to ink it up more than once. We will see. Yeah, okay. Right, it's come out quite well. I think the old letter stamp was more of a problem than the ink, in fact. I think I need to do this a bit more light because it's actually come out a bit dark. Yeah, that'll do. And let's do the other script. Just for something different. For the last one. upside down, probably. Okay, that'll do. Alright, that's that one done. Okay, so they're all stamped to varying degrees of success, I think. But they'll be fine. It's just a background. Okay, so what's next? Let's get back on my chair before I fall off completely. Right, so let's see. Need some little bits of lace and stuff. I've got some bits here. So she did a bit of sort of ruching using the glue to ruche. I'm going to try using this first because I think it's stronger, will grab quicker and get all over me more as well. Wipe the fingers. So I've got 10 minutes left. Am I going to get any finished? I don't know. I might get a couple finished. We'll see, shall we? Bit of ruching. Okay. Let that dry for a minute and I'll do one of these. It's a little bit on the thick side, this, but let's try a bit of this coffee dyed cheesecloth. I might be able to do that with just the... Oh. I'll get back on my chair. Okay, right. Let's put a bit of this glue on here. Try ruching. It's probably a bit too big actually. Probably enough for doing 2 here. Oop, yep. Oh, I quite like that. Let's do another one while I've got the piece of... this is... leaking everywhere, so I'd put the top on. Right, yeah. Put another bit of glue on here. There we are. Yep, quite like that. I think I prefer that actually to this one, which was a bit too much, but it's on now, so we'll do that. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. I've got flowers and I've got birds. I'll start with the birds. See if I can find a nice bird to go on. have rather have had something a bit more colourful really. But I don't know if this is going to be... Oh, what about that? That's quite nice. Yes. I'm just going to stick it on. No messing about. I'm not sure how well it'll stick to the lace, but I think it it won't matter too much because if everywhere else is stuck. So if I do it so the branch is kind of there. Oh, he's going to lose a little bit of his tail unless I twist him a little bit. That's it. Right, so he's on there. What else have we got? No, he's a bit too big, isn't he? Or is he? Is it too big? It doesn't quite work. I could cut a bit of the tail off, I suppose. No, I'm not sure about that one. Oops. Of course, there's always the owl. The owls always look so good because they look straight at you. Yes, I think that's why I'm always drawn to those. Let's see what else I've got. Is that too small? Yes. What about him? Will he work? Yes, he will. Oh yes, I like him. Just got to take out that. Just going to take out a little bit out round his feet. How are we doing for time? Not great. Better. Yep, I think that one's going to go on there. Let's just do a floral one. And then I've still got to do the topper. How's that going to work? There we are. Okay, and let's have a look at the flowers, see what I've got. So I've got any pretty ones cut out, ready to go. That's quite pretty. It looks a bit not quite enough on its own. It's got tangled up. Could I do a little floral cluster? Something like that. I think I might get the two on together. Either that or a yellow. the two yellows. No, they're just too long. Not going to mess about. I'm going to actually, I'm going to, oops. I'm just going to stick them on. Don't overthink, just get it done, because these are not going to get finished at this rate because I haven't done the toppers. But never mind. I don't think Rachel's going to come after me. Remember to leave a space for the corners to be cut. Oh, there goes the timer. So yeah. Not as easy as you think to get these done in 45 minutes. It looks fairly straightforward, and it is straightforward. But getting them completed Rachel makes it look so easy and relaxed. Takes her time choosing things. Oh well. I will get these finished. Just not in time to say I completed the challenge properly, but never mind. I'm not going to stress about it anymore. I did at the beginning, now I just think, oh well. I'm having a go, and I like these, and I don't want to rush them in such a way that they end up looking really rubbish. Okay, so I'm just going to relax now and just finish them off. One of the things that she did was also, I think first of all I'm going to cut my corners. Not with those scissors though. Okay, let's cut the corner. And this corner. As Gail has been saying, flip and snip. And then I might just use this as my template for the others, even though they're not quite the same size. I think as long as it's more or less lined up, it'll do. Oop. And I do for this one as well. Okay. Now she also did a little stamping up the top. And I have got some little stamps. I wonder if I might just put a little bird there. I think I will. On that one. I don't want these edgy bits to come through, so I'm just going to wipe it. So a little swallow swooping above the bluebells, or whatever they are. There we are. Yeah, like that. So that's that one. So he's got a little bird there. This one needs a bit of a trim up, I think. The lace is a bit too much. that's all right. That's better. A bit tidier. The other thought I had when it came, I've got a couple of other stamps which I could use, but I'm thinking about the other sort of stamps. I thought that might actually work as well. So I brought my little stamp book with folio with me, and I thought I'd see if any of those would just fit. So I have got some birdie ones and some pretty florally ones. If I've got a small one, I thought I might put one of those in the corner. Is that too big? Maybe it needs to be one that's oriented. Oh, I don't know. Facing the other way is what I mean. Something like that. Where's the other? Yes, actually I quite like that. I think I prefer that to the idea of I think I might just pop that there. A little stamp in the corner. A different sort of stamp. It looks like he's looking at the other bird. What are you doing here on my territory? And this one, what shall I have on this one? Don't know if I've got any. Yes, I have some little floral stamps, or there's this one. Still on its backing paper. I think I quite like that. I think the others are a bit too big. Let's have a look. Is that too much? What else have I got? Ooh, I've got this. Tiny little deer. He's rather cute. Now I might put him on there actually. Just for something different. It's still nature, because these are meant to be nature tags. And these are still in the nature theme. I just think he's rather sweet. Little deer up in the corner there. Okay, so they're got their little extras on. And now all I need to do is the toppers. So I'm just going to, I think I'm going to do a hole in two of them, and I'm going to use my new tag punch. Now it's in one of them, just because I can. Let's see where this goes. Alright, there's one. Two. And I've just bought this. I don't find it very easy to use, but I'm going to give it a go in this one. I know you're not supposed to do it just in your hand, but of course that's not really an option for me, so I'm just going to try and press it down. Oops, and of course it slips over. But I'm going to try again. Ah, Ben tore my tag up. That's not really what I was at. This because it's still a bit wet. Oh well, it was worth a try. I wanted one like Rachel's, but it was very expensive. So I thought I'd try this one. But it's not easy for me to use. Oh god. Alright, go back to plan A. I have managed to make it work, but obviously on camera things are never going to work the way you want them to. Now, where are we? Let's do it that way so I can see where the middle is. Alright, let's not make life more difficult than necessary, huh? Okay. Right, so I've got a few bits that might work as toppers. Actually, I did have a purple one somewhere. No. I think this one will work in here. Come on. That's because I'm not pulling the right bit because it needs trimming off. Okay. Right. Trim that off. And this cute one here. I can go through here. So that's that one. And don't pink, no. I'll go through here. Okay. Right, there we are. They're finished, just not in time. I wasn't far off. And I've got 3 more to finish off camera, which I might do later. Okay, so there we are. There's the 3 that I've done. I think this is my favourite actually. I like that one, but I like them all. I think they're pretty. So thank you very much for joining with me, and please do join me again soon. Bye for now. Hiya, so as usual I thought I'd carry on and then show you how I got them all finished after the camera's turned off. So these are the 3 were made on camera, and they've now been all sewn around just with a very pale grey thread and tidied up a bit, and I think they look quite nice. This one was coming up, so I stuck that down, and this one. And then I thought I'd get the other 3 done as well, so I'll show you those. So I've got this one with the bird, and I really wanted to use, as you could see, I really wanted to use my slot punch, and when they dried a bit it worked perfectly well, so I managed to get this done. And then I could use this bit of fabric which was a little bit wider, and I didn't want to scrunch it all up into a hole. This is that, if you saw any of my wedding, my bird journal, this is the William Morris fabric that I got from Hobbycraft, and I just love it. So I used that as the topper, and I thought this looked a bit plain down the bottom, so I've just put a little bit of did a little piece there just to bring it together. Sorry, that's my phone. And a bird, and a little stamped bird there, and a little label. And I really love this one, actually. I think it's one of my favourites. And then this one, oh, still got a little bit of thread to cut there. Oh. Right, so I used the Windy Morris again because I just thought that was really pretty on there with the slot punch, little yellow flower and a butterfly. That was a simple one, but I like that as well. And this one I went for pink flowers, little bird, and a little bit of ticking style fabric. I don't think it's actual ticking. I don't know what ticking is, to be honest, apart from maybe it's just stripy fabric. I don't know. But I just put that at the top as my topper. So there we are, 3 done, 3 more done, should I say, and 6 altogether. So I'm really pleased how these turned out. I really like them. I think they're lovely. I love this one, and I think and this one. They're my favourites. So there we are, all done. Thank you very much. See you again soon. Bye.